Aloha and welcome back to my channel. On today's chapter of Irenesarahtravels, I'll be taking you along on our amazing week in Hawaii, exploring the lush, idyllic island of Maui and the super diverse east meets west island of Oahu. Come along for the ride as we explore clear blue waters, hike to an elevation of over 10,000 feet, and splash underneath an epic waterfall. Stay tuned. So everyone says that you need at least 10 days to fully enjoy a single Hawaiian island. Well, we only had a week and planned to hit 2 islands, so our tentative schedule was seriously packed. We started our trip in Maui and decided to take it easy on our first day because of jet lag, so we just rented some scuba gear and paddle boards and just hung out at the beach all day. We found the most bomb taco truck and had the best tacos of our lives, and then also Hawaiian shaved ice is amazing. We've never had it before. I really don't want this video to turn into a slideshow, so make sure you go to the blog irenesarahtravels.com after you're done watching. I'll have all my must stops and must sees, and I'll have all of our photos from our trip too. You'll notice that there's a ton of leisure footage throughout this video, but vlogs are to millennials what home movies were to our parents. So even though I've included lots of information for you globetrotters, I also want to save as much as possible because these are golden memories with my husband, and I'm so happy to bring you guys along for the ride. We woke up early the next day to make our way up Haleakala, the massive volcano that makes up 75% of Maui. The highest point is 10,023 feet above sea level and is a super popular place to catch the sunrise. We dilly-dallied a little bit before leaving our hotel, so the sun actually started to rise while we were driving up, but we weren't even mad about it. Look at the cotton candy clouds beneath us. It was so beautiful. So by the time we made it to the top, it was totally freezing up there. Even in sweats, we were so cold. So if you make this trek, be sure to layer up and bring some snacks. The drive takes a while because of the windy roads, and there's absolutely no food for sale in the park, and we were starving. Nothing beats the view though. It was worth the cold and the hunger pains. While we spent the majority of our vacation either in the water or just filthy from exploring the wilderness, we made it a point to at least set aside one night to get dressed up and go on a date. So 2 things I've always wanted was to go to a luau and of course get laid. So we headed over to the west side of the island to Lahaina to have dinner at Old Lahaina Luau, where we enjoyed traditional Hawaiian food, music, and cultural dances reflecting Hawaii's rich history, all while overlooking the sunset over the ocean. So it was honestly such an awesome experience. We had such a great time, and they're a really popular place. They're almost at full capacity every single day, and they have traditional seating as well as table seating, and I really wanted the traditional seating, but again, they were super packed, so we got a table, but we had an awesome view, and it was just amazing. One of Maui's most famous attractions is the magical road to Hana. Hana is a small, undeveloped, authentically Hawaiian town on the island's east side. This drive truly is not about the destination, but the 64-mile journey with its 620 curves, 59 bridges, lush rainforests, and plenty of waterfalls along the way. We did not map or plan out our drive ahead of time, completely underestimating just how much the road to Hana has to offer, but luckily we found an amazing app to guide our journey, so you'll have absolutely no phone service once you start getting really high up on Hana Highway, but Gypsy Guide works off of satellites and is so accurate, telling you exactly when and where to stop, not only for sights but also food and shopping. This was so much more helpful than the brochure guides we grabbed at our hotel because mile markers and signs sometimes are completely non-existent, and it was so great to just be able to drive and take in the sights rather than reading and stressing out over signs. We named our guide Thomas for some reason and really became attached to him like he was our friend. The commentary is timed so perfectly right down to the second and inch that in between markers and things to look out for, Thomas gave us practically the entire history of Maui, its people, culture, and mythology, which really made us appreciate and enjoy our Hawaiian vacation so much more. It was literally the best $5 we spent on our trip. Thomas tells us about all the stops along the way, but broke it down even further to his top 5 must-sees. The first stop on our journey was the Keanae Arboretum, a quick little stop where we stretched our legs. There are 2 short walking trails where we saw tons of different tropical plants. My absolute favorite was the rainbow eucalyptus. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. The bark on these trees are naturally multicolored and seriously look like they're out of a Dr. Seuss book. Alrighty, time to get back on the road. Again, we completely underestimated this drive. The drive itself will take about 3 hours to get to Hana, but you should plan for the whole day to get in all the stops that you have on your bucket list. I'd recommend leaving your hotel by sunrise and enjoying the sunset during your drive back, if you're not planning on staying the night in Hana. We started a little before lunchtime, and our drive back ended up being really scary with nothing but the full moon to light our way, but it was an experience that we'll never forget. The next stop on our drive was the Keanae Peninsula. This peninsula was created by lava flowing from Haleakala, the now dormant volcano that you saw us explore earlier in our trip. Here you'll find the old stone church, which was built with lava rock and coral in 1856. It's the only surviving building of the killer tsunami that wiped out the entire village in 1946. I wish I got a photo of the church, but I really did not want to disturb the locals. You'll also find coconuts along the beach from nearby coconut palms. If intact, they're totally safe to crack open and enjoy. On to the next one. So along with your lack of phone service, there really aren't very many facilities during your drive. So first and foremost, make sure you have a full tank of gas before you start. There's a small town called Paia that you'll see very early in your drive. And if you're using the app, Thomas will point it out. This will be the last place to get gas until you get to Hana. He'll also point out places that have bathrooms, food, and shopping all along the way. Our next stop was the 122-acre Waianapa Napa State Park. There was just so much to see here. Contorted lava rock formations, a sea arch, freshwater caves, a blowhole, and what we really came to see, the famous black sand beach. This was probably one of the most stunning places I've ever seen, and look how ugly of an afternoon it was. I can't even imagine how gorgeous this beach is on a sunny day. Here's an absolutely stunning view of the bay from above, and there's the black sand beach that we were just on to the left. So we took a quickie hike down to check out the freshwater caves, and the water level in these pools depend on the tide and the amount of rainfall. So while my husband was hoping to get in some cave diving, we were kind of disappointed to find them super shallow at the time. But it was still really cool to see, and we got to hear all about the legends of the caves on our app as we drove to the park. I know I keep going on and on and on about the Gypsy app, but I can't even explain to you how much we enjoyed listening to it the whole drive to and from Hana. We learned so much, and I honestly just found it by chance. I just searched Road to Hana and I downloaded the first app I found. Back on the road we go. So because of the rain and the sun getting lower in the sky, we decided to squeeze in just one more big stop during our drive. Two things we were on a mission for on the road to Hana were swimming at the bottom of a waterfall, and for my husband, no matter how much I said no, cliff jumping. Luckily, we weren't able to find a place for the latter during the little time that we had left, but we did find an amazing waterfall to play in, the 113-foot Wailua Falls. We weren't sure how we were supposed to get down to the pool, but found a very hidden, narrow, steep, and slippery path just to the right of the bridge. Even though my footage looks pretty bright, it was really gloomy out. The slippery rocks and dark water made me really anxious, but after some coaxing, I finally got in. I read that Wailua Falls is absolutely gorgeous early in the day when it gets some direct sunshine, but the upside to us being there late was that we practically had the entire pool to ourselves. For the second half of our trip, we took a quick flight over to Oahu, where we stayed at the beautiful modern Honolulu hotel. With an amazing view of Waikiki Beach and the harbor, we were just steps away from luxury shopping and tons of yummy restaurants. It was seriously like the rodeo drive of Hawaii. Oahu is such an interesting island. Within a quick drive, you get to see skyscrapers, mountains, rainforests, the beach, and the ocean. I think it's the perfect way to close out a Hawaiian vacation because it's a great transition back to city life. Guess what I found for Oahu? Another gypsy guide tour. So there's also one for Haleakala in Maui, by the way, but we didn't discover these apps until the day after we did that. Super bummer, but we still had a great time. So there are 4 different tours for Oahu, so we just kind of browsed a few and were pretty spontaneous with our plans on the island. We were a lot more structured when we were in Maui with like actual lists of things that we had to do. So the first place we checked out was Diamond Head, which is a massive saucer-shaped crater, and it's Hawaii's most recognized landmark. It's known for its hiking trail, its amazing coastal views, and of course its military history. And the hike was absolutely crazy. It took like 2 hours. It was so hot. It was so exhausting, so steep. And also I was covered head to toe. As you guys can see, I look like Justin Bieber, but I got really bad heat rash early in the trip and I was supposed to stay inside, and obviously I wasn't down for that. So near the end of the trip, I was just totally miserable and like covered in calamine lotion. It was so hot. Most of our sightseeing on Oahu I captured in photos, not video, so be sure to check out all the places we stopped at during our island tour on the blog after you're done watching. So now these views here at the Pali lookout were just stunning. The drive up was also incredible. This was the site of one of the most important battles in Hawaiian history, where the king drove up his opponents up and over the cliff, literally 300 style. Unlike our time in Maui, we actually spent a lot of time at our hotel in Honolulu. Not only were we just pooped from our trip, but the hotel was simply fabulous. We had a private daybed by the pool, so we spent a lot of our time laying out. We ate at their amazing restaurant, Morimoto's, where President Obama almost always dines when he's in his hometown. And the modern Honolulu also has a nightclub and a bar right in the building on the first floor. On the last day of our trip, we woke up early to check out Hanauma Bay, one of the world's most famous snorkeling destinations. In the late 60s, it became a protected conservation area after decades of abuse. So now, visitors are limited to the parking lot's capacity. If the lot is full, the bay is full. So we made it a point to come as early as possible. We came right when they opened. So parking was really easy and it wasn't crowded at all. As we were leaving, we saw a huge crowd coming down the hill, so really, we made great timing. As new visitors, we were required to watch an informational video when we got there to learn all about Hanauma Bay and what we can do to protect it. Stepping on or touching the coral reef and feeding any of the animals is strictly prohibited. Also, the park is closed every Tuesday to give the coral and fish a little break. As our final hours were winding down, we made a stop at the Dole plantation. James Dole was known as the Pineapple King and developed the pineapple industry in Hawaii. What started as just a fruit stand on Dole's pineapple fields in 1950, it's now a living museum where we were able to take a tour through the agricultural lands on the Pineapple Express and got to enjoy lots of Dole goodies. Our favorite was the pineapple ice cream float. The plantation is also home of the world's largest maze, but we had a flight to catch, so literally ain't nobody got time for that. We spent our entire last day listening to the Gypsy apps and exploring the whole island. We finished our day as well as our trip at the famous North Shore, the surfing mecca of the world. As the sun set on our trip, literally and figuratively, we felt so sad to leave. I usually have anxiety after a few days of being away, and I just want to get back home, but with this trip, I honestly could not get enough. Mahalo, beautiful Hawaii, for a perfect vacation. I cannot wait to come back and explore the rest of your islands. And thank you all so much for tuning in and sharing these memories with me. Head over to the blog now to see our photos and read all about our trip. Until we meet again, aloha!